Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's Wide Format Wednesday webinar on how to grow and profit with the game-changing capabilities, production level performance, and high-quality imaging of the EFI Pro 33R roll-to-roll LED printer. My name is Adriana Gutierrez, and I'm a Regional Marketing Manager here at EFI. I would like to introduce our speakers for today. Tomer Ohavi, EFI Senior Director of Product Management. George Howe, an Application Specialist at the Londonderry, New Hampshire Customer Experience Center. George will be giving the demo of the EFI Pro 33R printer in a little bit. And our special guest, Anthony Nozzolo, President Owner of South Shore Sign Company, an early adopter of the EFI Pro 33R printer. To start things off, Tomer will present a quick overview of the EFI production level wide format printers. Then he will join George for a live demonstration of the Pro 33R roll-to-roll LED printer, followed by a discussion with Anthony Nozzolo on his wide format printing business and how the Pro 33R is making an impact. We will have a Q&A session at the end, so please send in your questions using the chat box. Today's event will be recorded and made available to you all. Tomer, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Adriana, and thank you for the audience for joining us. I'm here with George in our beautiful Londonderry, New Hampshire, USA demo center, which is great, beautiful, and shiny, almost snowing out here in Londonderry. As Adriana mentioned, my name is Tomer Ohavi. I'm the Director of Product Management out of EFI. And I want to walk you through a little bit about our Pro 33R. I'm going to start a little bit with the umbrella portfolio breadth of EFI, and then we're going to drive more and more discussions specifically to the 33R, and definitely kick off to the live demonstration. As you can see, the EFI portfolio has a breadth of portfolio in the different vertical markets. We're serving the sign and display markets, packaging, textile, single pass to multi-pass, and basically our mission is to expand capabilities and driving the digital printing industry to a different age. Talking about specifically on the wide format category, which is part of our sign and display, 2024 was an incredible year. We refreshed each one of our printers in the portfolio, and you're invited also to the next webinar that we're going to introduce each of one in the next few weeks and months. This session is going to be focused, as I mentioned, on the dedicated Pro 33R, which is part of the family of the 16H plus, 30F plus, 30H, and 32R plus, wide format category. Talking about the roll-to-roll market space at EFI, as always, over 20 years, we're serving our high-end market with the ViewTech line. As you can see at the slide, we have a breadth of 7 different printers portfolio, sorry, 8 different printers in the portfolio, the D line, the Plus, the Q, and the X, serving our high industrial volume. And about 7 years ago, we took the decision to move into the dedicated roll-to-roll entry mid-level production. Back then, we launched the 32R Plus, which was a very successful platform for those who want to step into the production environment. And after those 6-7 successful years with a 32R Plus, our customers wanted to grow, to have more capacity, to come with new application and new challenges. This is what brought us listening to the voice of customer with the new 33R. I'm so excited Anthony is here with us today as one of the early adopters. Keeping your ears open because beautiful testimonials out of Anthony. But I want to talk more in a few before we go to George about the specifications of the 33R. If you look on at a glance, we're talking about a 10-foot machine, 3.2 meter, that can go up to 343 square meters per hour. It's crossing again 3,600 square feet. A fully industrial build machine, coming again from our uh, engineering and excellence manufacturing around the globe. And with the new technology adoption, moving to the new Ricoh Gen 6 print heads with the native 5 picoliter, which give us the beautiful colors, the color accuracy, the dot gain, and of course, definitely the better ink yield with the Ricoh Gen 6. We're continuing the journey with the UV LED inks, which was proving as a have a great TCO, absolutely, and also great curing mechanism. Basically, running the 4-color printers that can get up to 1100 DPI, and we'll talk more about the different options. We have a built-in option mechanism. George going to speak about what's come included, but the beautiful architecture is enabling each one of you to choose a la carte menu, the different option, whether it's going to be an inline slitting, a double side printing for backlit or blockout, running white or running clear ink, a very unique clear ink. The different media handling mechanism from the dual split shaft we have today to the Super Duty to the media edge guide. Everything is wrapped up with a very beautiful cloud system solution, the EFI IQ and the Fiery, that give you an on-spot review of your print shop, analytics, all the data you need on the bottom of your computer. But this is about the different tools and the different options of the 33R. We're highly excited about this new launch. And I'm going to shift it over to George talking about the productivity. As you can see, we have so many different type of print modes, talking about from billboard application, outdoor. I would imagine, you know, George and I are spending a lot of time here. There's no single application on flexible materials that is unreachable to print with a 33R. We're talking about banner vinyl mesh for outdoor. We're talking about specialty and premium application like wall covering, clings, clear materials for winter graphics, and definitely leather application, you name it. So everything can be accommodated with this extensive architecture of 33R. So without any further ado, I'll hand over to George. We're going to walk you through on the 33R. And I really want to urge you guys, let's make it a communicative session. Ask anything you want to ask, or you want us to double show or click or have further explanation. There's a chat box. Please feel free. Don't be shy. Ask anything. So George, tell us a little bit more. What do we see here?
So obviously a 33R. We're using Ricoh Gen 6 print heads down to 5 peak liter size drops. We've upgraded from the 32R Plus that Tomer talked about earlier. LED UV, which you can see the nice blue or purple lights turn up on your screen. Instant on, instant off, immediately cured. Low temperature, low power consumption. Very durable, very durable. Lifespan, I've never heard of a lamp dying on either side. On the carriage, we do have static ionizers built in, crash bars to prevent any damage upon the carriage if you happen to have a strike or anything like that. We're using our 3M Super Range XF inks, standard in the printer. Very nice ink set. It's carried over from the 32R Plus, very solid. Also, what you're going to see is, as far as standard, we do have what we call an integrated mesh kit. So what that entails is we actually have wings that actually just pop up above our print platen. Actually, I'm going to hit pause so I don't get hurt. So really what we would do is take this pad and I would just roll it out across the print table. And there's just a simple button over here that says wings. They would just pop up. You'd web your material over and you're good to go for mesh. It's very simple, very easy. It's the only thing that comes in and out. And that is standard in the printer. So what is also standard in the printer is the backlit box. So when Tomer's talking about different applications, what you can do, backlit is one of them. Samba, Mambo, View light, it's a simple button again. Inline processing, you're not relying upon a light box, a light table. You're doing it within the same process. We also utilize these lights for an option that I'm going to talk about in a little bit after I get through the standard options. All right. So also what Toma talked about, we do have Fiery embedded in the printer. Comes with the printer. You can go through all the tools that Fiery utilizes. You can arrange your artwork there. You can step and repeat. You can do all those things. You can also build a color library. So when you get these specific customers that they are very critical with their colors, you can just build that library and go back to it every time and not recreate colors over and over and over again. So it's all tools at the printer. It can be one operator. You don't need to have someone just ripping and sending files to your printer. You can do it everything right here. So
talking about software, that all of these parameters can be saved in a library, right? That every time you go back to a single media, you don't have to create the same printer parameters, head height, different tension. You can set everything in the printer parameters. Is that true?
yes. Standard comes in. We have we call quick settings. So say we're running 2 rolls up, like right now, I have 63-inch banner. I can create carriage height, bidirectional, step. It keeps all that information in there. So when I go back to it, it's a simple drop down. You click on it, hit apply. Those settings are there. You're not redoing them. But if you want to go to single roll, you have settings in for that. If you went to PSA, Samba, you can switch in between all of them right at the printer. It's with it. So also what we have on board the carriage is the wrinkle analyzer. So as we're running, there's a sensor built in. It's sensing whether we're going to get if it senses a wrinkle, it'll actually pause the printer. It'll ask you a couple different options. Do you want to keep on going? Do you want to try to fix it? Or do you want to ignore it entirely for the rest of the run? So there's an option there. And that is standard. So that kind of keeps you from destroying print heads. Very simple, very nice. Look, I'm missing something.
No, I was very impressed, and maybe it's difficult to see on the camera, but the small text was very visual, and definitely we're able to print very detailed barcodes, QR codes, and in this map can definitely evidence of the small text capabilities, again, with the Ricoh Gen 6, 1100 DPI, beautiful imagery, and absolutely, as you mentioned.
Yep. And the mode you just saw printed there was what we call an outdoor mode at approximately 2,045 square feet.
Oh my God. Outdoor mode.
Very quick.
The quality is unbelievable.
So also while you're doing this with your printer, while you're ripping, you can be running jobs, loading them into the queue as we go. So truly continual printing. Our standard shafts that come with the machine are 3.2 meters, so you can do a full 3-meter banner. The bar supports up to 440 pounds. I'll get into the differences between the split shaft and what the standard shafts have to offer and the upgrade you will get with set options.
Awesome. So all of this is included, right? Just a recap.
Standard out of the box.
Mesh kit, Fiery built-in, light box,
Wrinkle analyzer.
Ricoh analyzer, fresh bars, and everything this beautiful architecture. Let's talk about the different options. And very curious, let's talk about this inline slitter. Can you guide us through a little bit about the inline slitter and what does it do?
Yep. So the first option is the inline slitter. It's very simple, very easy. You'll see I already have 2 attached in here, but I kind of just like to show how simple it really is. It's just, we're going to put it in the rail that's in front, and the blade will just slide out like so. So I would just walk up to the printer, lock it in, drop my blades down, and just continue printing. So also within the software, when you get the slitters, it'll actually give you guide marks. So when you click on your job, it'll give you the guide marks to line these slitters up to. So very simple, very easy. And they come out just as easy as they went in. The blade is very, very sharp. It's a drag blade. It's got 12 positions on it. So the life of the blade is actually really, really good. So when you look at them, can't really show you on camera. It's a very fine, you'll see it's well-positioned blade on it. The other option you're going to see right now is we are running dual roll. We are running motorized unwinders and winders. This system works very, very, very nice when you're doing multi-roll compared to just having one bar. The upgrade to that is every bar is good for 440 pounds, just as good outside diameter. But on the back side, you're not relying upon having the exact same size roll. So we're not hamstrung by that.
So you can use same material, but a different
Yeah.
size of rolls because each one has its own tension, own control in a way.
It's independent. It's not just the shaft that has a clutch on it that's trying to rely upon it. It's true independent shafts.
Okay, beautiful. I'll just put here to show the audience how beautifully the sliders are cutting. So practically we're eliminating a second step process of manual cutting or going to any inline finishing solution. You can do everything inline. It doesn't slow down the process. It just, eliminate another step in the process.
Yep. So also with this system, it's very easy to just use. When you want to go back to a full 3-meter roll, you just simply undo 2 pins right here. This actually collapses down, stores in, and you'd use a 3-meter bar. Very quick, very easy changeover. It's a lot better doing dual roll when you're doing loading 2 rolls. You can load each shaft individually. There's some customers buy extra shafts, so they actually pre-stage for the next rolls. So it's one option that we brought in later in the 32R Plus life, but definitely applies to this. So then the optionals of white or clear.
Let's talk about some options. Indeed. So we have 2 color options, white or clear. On the 33R, you have to decide whether you want to use the clear channels or white channels. But let's talk about clear, white ink, for example. How many layers? What are different application you can exceed out of it?
So with our white ink, you can utilize it in many different ways. You can do a regular backlit, color white color. You can do what we call day-night backlit, color 1, color 2. Then we do up to 5 layers. So you can do a true block out print. So if you want to do some, say, store signage coming in and outside of a door, you'd have your clear PSA. Open on one, welcome, goodbye on the other side. You can just.
I think we have some samples. Let's show them around. So again, George mentioned, the different mode layers are actually embedded and very easy to use within the software. You can choose side A and side B, different images with a block out layer in the middle, right?
Yep. So
you can do also one time on the fly. Yep.
And when you bring those 2 files in, the software actually just does all the sandwiching for you. So it takes care of all the layering.
Beautiful.
It's
ease of use.
It's ease of use.
Yeah.
Also another option, remaining media length, Media Wizard.
Tell us about it.
So with the Media Wizard, when I load said rolls, hopefully people can kind of see that. At the end, after I input how much is in there, I can print this tag out for the next time I want to use the roll. So that system being said, when I load new rolls and I know how much is on them, I can input those after I scan the rolls in.
That's amazing. We're going to print shop and we see all of those unfinished rolls that no one really knows, how to utilize them. How much I really has left to the next job I want to have. So that's very, very efficient and something that we hear from our customers about how efficient such solution is in the market.
Yep. So also another simple option that we have is, if you ever talk to me, I'm a really not pushy. I will actually suggest something that I think is very, very nice.
One of your favorites, I would say. Yeah.
This is one of my favorites that's come out. It's the Media Edge Guide. So I've talked to enough customers. They get similar meters to what I get. Sometimes you get really hairy banner or edges that just have a wave to them that you can't get down and you get head strikes, so you get lost in jets.
Right.
So utilizing our mesh kit, when the wings are down, I can actually just take this, attach to the wings, and actually pull that edge down. So it's a very simple, very easy system. It just helps in every way. So these are actually interchangeable. So if, it's consumable, but it's To me, it's very cheap compared to a printhead. Very cheap. So I'm very suggestible user when I
Yeah.
tell someone,
I-
please
I-
buy these.
Yeah, and I agree with your enthusiasm because today there's such a big variety of different media types, and the humidity also might cause a different warping of the media.
Yep.
So having this aside to your standard capabilities can be definitely helpful. Going back to the color options, we're talking about white, but let's say if I wanna not use white, decide to use clear ink. How does it look like? What application I can do? Maybe
We do banners,
We do-
protective for, our clear is protective.
okay.
It looks very much so like how our inkset cures. It's very matte. It's a matte,
Let's finish.
for now.
Yeah.
I think we'll eventually get it somewhere.
So
else. But for now,
ideally,
it's matte, it's protective.
I can eliminate any film lamination or any water-based lamination or manual lamination, and print and coat all in one run.
Yep.
Instead of going to a laminator machine. And
I've heard of customers doing all wall coverings, offering scuff protection.
okay,
We've definitely gone there. It's
simple.
we find more and more uses. I've seen some form of decorative. I've kind of played around with it. You've seen me take, if you're familiar with Dreamscape products,
Mhm.
they're very shiny, very glossy stuff where if I utilize the matte ink, it kind of gives me a decorative
Interesting.
look. It
Interesting.
offsets the gloss with a matte. You can do different designs.
Okay.
We've kind of,
So as you mentioned, George, the clear ink has a very special formulation characteristics. It was developed not as a varnish, but really a clear coating. So it's replacement of a coating lamination processes, and really you can just get out of the printer a printed image with a coating that can last up to 5 years. And if you want to hear more about the clear ink, it's definitely something that we embrace more and more in the different platforms as well. We're happy to share more.
Tomer and George.
Also one thing I forget to,
So we
Any questions?
are so lucky. Yeah, we have so many questions. So I was thinking before going to Anthony, we can answer some of
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
yeah.
take some questions, George,
I'm used to
All right. Let's do that.
Perfect. Okay. So what's the production threshold that typically validates choosing the Pro 33R over the 32R Plus?
Yeah, I would say, primarily is the speed and quality. The architecture, the options are extended. So we use the same option and the same technology. Ideally, we're reaching 30% faster in throughput. And we see a bigger, I would say, utilization of the inks. It really depends on the
That-
color gamut. It depends on the files as well.
for my years over all these products, like Tomer knows, I know all the World War products. Me going from the 32R Plus to this one, I think we got pretty focused on improving the
Exactly.
higher speed stuff.
Higher speed.
Production and POP, in my honest opinion, it's a higher quality on this 33R than it is on the 32R Plus. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, and
it-
George,
It's just a
mentioned-
upgrade. It's faster. It's a better
that was
quality,
our goal. Better quality, faster.
and that comes with the Gen 6 print head. A lot of things come with this on top of. what we've-
So I think the decision making is definitely the volume as the major key. of the
Also artwork.
decision-making.
Artwork plays into it sometimes.
No,
Yep. Some stuff you have a solid. Sometimes it's not quite there. You just kind of you go from production to a POP, and that's totally fine.
Great, thank you. Second question, is the Super Range ink conformable to rivets of fleet graphic applications?
So talking box trucks.
Mhm.
Typically, yeah, Super Range should be good for the rivets. We'll get into Superflex when we start doing tighter bends for true car wraps. We're
Correct.
doing really, really tight bends. But for rivets, Super Range,
Yeah,
good.
the super range characteristics is up to 110% elongation, 110% elongation. So for the majority of the stretchable materials and application, super range should be sufficient. But it's a good question also for our customers knowing the 32R, we're using the same ink.
Yeah, same ink set.
So if you have a 32R and you want to go to a 33R, you're using the same ink.
Also, when you make that jump, it's same software.
Exactly. It's
You
a very
just
natural.
you're gonna fall right in. It's virtually no training.
Yep.
Except learning what all your new print modes look like compared to a 32R.
Exactly.
Great. How do you make sure the rolls does not skew and mess up the slit line?
Can you repeat? Doesn't mess up. Sorry, again.
So once we add, I get it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. So once we scan our rolls in, you can set the software up so it automatically centers your image. But once we actually click on slitters in the software, it'll give me that line. So once I set that slitter, that artwork doesn't move. It's still going to print in the same spot, and that slitter doesn't move. Unless there's something seriously wrong going on. As far as, you'd have to have something really seriously going on that's a service call at that point. But typically, if you're running like this, non-issue. Or slitters depends on the medium.
Yep.
There's definitely, we don't really have a guide to tell you what it can or cannot slit.
Well, basically, from our
It's a lot.
experience,
Yeah.
every single media that we have experienced in our demo center, also up to 900-gram banners, it can slit. Also carpets and some wall covering materials. But we always, if it's any exotic material,
We try.
always utilize our demo center capabilities to give it a try.
I've been surprised. I've been surprised.
Okay.
with stuff that
Good.
So
could have done
that edge material to help hold down the media, can you use that on the ends as well, or only the center of the two rolls?
No, you can use them on the ends as well. That just happened to be a little bit of tight. I've actually used one for both.
Yep.
I've used one for both before. But yes, you can absolutely put it on the ends. Typically, if you buy a printer, I suggest you get it 4.
Or
If you do 2 rolls up, you get either side.
Okay, 4 color with 12 print head. How about white and clear? How many print heads total?
4 white, and if you get clear, it ends up only being 2 heads of clear.
4 for white, 2 for clear.
Okay. Okay, there is a question here that I think is a follow-up on every side of roll. Okay, so the whole question is
On this
12
printer, it's
print
6
heads.
white.
Yeah, 12 print heads plus 6 optional white clear on every side of roll.
So I got stuck on a 32R plus for a hot second there. So
Okay.
a 32R plus is two rows of heads. We're 3 rows of heads on this.
Okay, total 18 print heads, 3 rows.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, great. Can we have both clear ink and white ink simultaneously?
No, we can't. On the 30 and on the Pro series, you have to choose white or ink. In order to utilize both white and ink on roll to roll, we have the different view to client product that can support simultaneously.
Perfect. Okay, so those are the questions as of now. If you type, maybe we can go to Anthony now.
Yep, absolutely. So just gotta set the stage and awesome. Thank you so much for the questions. And if anything comes up while we speak, please continue to set up your questions in the chat. And Anthony, good seeing you. How are you? Just let's make sure. I think you're still on mute.
How about now?
Beautiful. Thank you for taking the time and joining us. Maybe we'll start with some self-introduction. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself, about the business. What market do you serve? And just a little bit of introduction of yourself and the business.
Sure. My name is Anthony Nizzolo. I'm the president of South Shore Sign Company. We're also known as signbrothers.com. We're located in New Jersey. We've been around since 1983. My father started the company out of the garage, and I have been manufacturing graphics and signs since the age of 12. So I am 52. I got a lot of years in.
Wow.
Yeah, so maybe too many years in. But our client base takes us anywhere from the tri-state area to Northeast, and we do have some national accounts. Some of our accounts are retail and development, big companies like Westfield, Brookfield, Simon. We also do work for other large corporations like Mavis Discount Tires. We do a lot of hospital work. And yeah, it's from where we started. We started with the Gerber platform, 4Bs, cutters, moved on to Rollins. And then eventually we found a great partner in EFI ViewTech, and that was the early 2000s. And once we crossed over, we never looked back. So here we are today.
That's incredible journey, starting, being over 40 years in the business, you probably know about everything. You're talking about, the different territories in the market. And before we jump into the 33R, you said a little bit about the technology you have in-house. You said you were starting with a small gear of Rollins and moved to the different platforms. If you can elaborate a little bit about the technology you have and maybe some finishing and fabrications.
Sure. Well, in the early 2000s, there was a need for, in the retail sector, to do large, wide format graphics in retail centers or malls. Barricades were just starting to be introduced, where a wall would go up in a center and someone would have to come in and wrap it. And you needed to keep up with the demand, and also you couldn't deal with things like color dropouts or head issues or things like that. So I had at one time, I think we had 5 Rollins trying to do barricade graphics. It just wasn't practical. And then we found the QS line from EFI ViewTech, and the QS 3200 series was the first machine that really got us into doing that type of work effectively. And then it was followed by another purchase, which I think was the QS hybrid. And with those 2 machines, we were able to definitely cover a lot more area, tap into different markets, strategize, especially when it came to installations, because we're a full turnkey shop. So we design, manufacture, and install. And sometimes, things are due same day. So you got to hustle. And if you can't rely on the equipment, then, you got to look elsewhere. And luckily, we found a great partner. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. You were talking about your journey, and I know you probably, know the market and go to trade shows. And how was your discovery coming with, I want to have a 33R. That's my new gear. What made you to take this decision, choosing EFI again, and specifically with a 33R?
So, as we purchased equipment over the years, and then eventually we got involved in the GS line, and then dealing with the support team, it really reinforced everything that we were looking for, because you could buy all this equipment and you could do some fancy stuff, but if you do not have good support, boots on the ground, people that are coming in and showing you how to work something. And let me just stop dead in my tracks and say, if you have not been to the New Hampshire demo site and met with George like I have, you're missing out. You need to go there. You need to spend a day with George, ask the questions, get your head inside that gantry and look around, look at the heads, tell me what, look inside yourself. Like, are you getting a good vibe? Every time I've been there, I've always seen something new and exciting. And George and some of the other folks there have always taken the time out to explain it, because as everybody knows, these machines are not cheap. And, and if you are looking to purchase something to get you to the next level, you have to do your due diligence. And sometimes you're not going to get that from a trade show. And I think Tomer and George will testify that I didn't even go to the trade show when I bought the 33R. I went up
Yep.
there. I went to New Hampshire. I brought my files and I told them, you know, this is what we need to do. This is the speeds we're looking for, and we need to have quality. And yeah, we were able to get all of that with 33R. So yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing statement, and I want to reinforce, you know, we have beautiful demo centers around the globe. We have a demo center in Italy that supports our EMEA community, and we have our demo center in the US. And I think your journey coming, you know, say, put on the ground, you know, look at the gear under the hood, bringing your files, doing the ink mileage. This is a way of discovery we'd like our customer to do.
Well, the attention's all on you for that whole day. We booked a whole day. It's just you. There's no one there to, you know, like you said, trade show.
Yeah.
There's always someone there.
Someone.
You don't get the full attention that you really need.
Yep. And having your materials in your file,
Yep.
that's a key.
Yep.
Yeah, the trade shows are great, but if you know, like I said, the fact that you have that center there, it answers a lot of questions because it shows that you're rooted, you're there, you're willing to take the time out, meet with folks like me, and yeah, where else can you do that? I don't know where else you could do that. I mean, I'm Italian, I'd love to go to Italy, but you guys are a heck of a lot closer, so we'll stick with New Hampshire.
Talking about, you know, the business, and you were talking about choosing. You're running the 33R about, you know, a couple of months or more as our early adopter. What was the one or two, you know, highlights, you know, you're taking out of this journey so far? What was making us believing, you know, the two characteristics that you think making difference in your business?
So we were looking for speed and quality and reliability. Really those three critical elements. And the 33R right out of the gate, what we were looking for was consistent quality, meaning no banding. If there's any banding, it's at a very high speed, but even that was very acceptable. We were coming off the GS models where when we increase the speed, sometimes you get a little bit of lawn mowing effect. Clients, for the most part, don't really pick up on it. But if you're doing a lot of barricades and murals, you know, eventually it comes around. It's like, okay, hey, what are those lines? But the 33R, from what I have seen, is beautiful. It's a beautiful machine. The footprint is narrow, which is great. It looks like everything was really well thought out. Take up reels, the bar, the way it prints, you know, the colors. We just did a very large parking deck and I printed on 3M cement vinyl. And the client was very adamant about color matching because they painted the deck and then they wanted to add graphics that match those primary colors. And
that's a challenge, huh?
it was a challenge, yeah. And especially, you know, cement vinyl. I don't know if anybody in the audience has had the pleasure of installing cement vinyl in a parking deck in the month of November, December, where the temperature drops. It's a lot of heat gun action and weird things sometimes happen with inks, but everything laid down beautifully. I do have pictures. They're not sexy pictures because it's a parking deck, but I'd be glad to share it with the community. Everything came out great. No color dropouts, no banding. I think we're using super range inks. And you know, when you're heating the vinyl and you're trying to get it into that that grout and that groove, it all laid down beautifully. And we did layer the vinyl in raw concrete and painted concrete. And there were no issues. It performed, it was excellent. So yeah,
I'm happy to hear that.
speed, quality, and reliability. Yeah.
That's great. Speed, quality, reliability. I'll take it as a header. How was your operator experience? You know, let's say from the day the printer arrived, how long does it take for the, you know, training, getting, you know, ramp up and starting production and your guys to feel comfortable next to the printer?
I think once the printer was set up, based on our prior knowledge of the, we're using Fiery Rip and just the other model machines like the GS platforms. We were printing in like 2 days, 3 days. We had some questions, but they weren't make or break questions. I think we had question on double-sided printing, which came around because we were doing large banners for a client in Manhattan, Hudson Yards. You may have heard of it. And they were very large banners that had to be perfect, double-sided. They hang in a 150-foot atrium, and it needed to be perfect. But I mean, we called support. Luckily we know a lot of the support people that come out, and we were rocking and rolling very quickly. So no issues.
As you mentioned, being next to the customers and having the service also to adhere to your request. We know something's going to come up. It's a complicated multidisciplinary equipment, and being there to our customers is a key factor for us.
It's like me getting back to when Anthony visited. I actually like to dedicate some time into the user software because it's a tool that's very easy to use, but it packs a lot of functionality.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you go, Tony.
Anthony, maybe one or more, 2 questions. How does it affect your business as of today, and what you see, let's say, in 2025? How this is going to affect your business? You were talking about application. I'm talking also about, business-wise.
Yeah,
so the 33R.
So I think every sign and graphic shop could agree with me that you never want to take on more work than you can handle, right? There's always that fear in the back of your mind, like, can we do this? Is it possible?
Can we do that? Yeah.
And can we execute? You can't get to that level of thinking if you're unsure about the equipment. So it's a great question. And the way I would answer it is this. I would say, knowing that we have this piece of equipment in-house and we put it through all the trials so far, it's been working fantastic. I feel more confident going out, tapping different market sectors and selling even more, expanding our footprint. Why not get another 33R? That's my thought. Why not get another one? Replace another machine with another 33R, because it'll allow you to go out and sell a little more. It'll allow you to expand your footprint. And I think that's what this is all about, right? Automation is the key. We all know that. But you have to feel good about what it is that we're automating, right? And in the print business and the sign business, it has to work. Otherwise, it's not a good situation.
It's very interesting. I take the header saying yes, the ability to have in your back in your mind, if someone give you a call, just to say yes, I can do that and deliver on time. That's an amazing notion. And maybe last question, just about, maybe you want to share a little bit about the future of the business. What's next for you in the market, application, anything else you envision for your company?
I think we're only so big, right? You only have so much of a building and property and all that. These machines, they do take up space. You have to have the operators, you have to have the utilities. Yeah, I mean, if I don't know if George was ever out to my old shop, but we used to be in a very small building. I know some of your support people have been there. And then when we moved to this new building that we're in now, you get to see everything in a different light, kind of like the demo center where you could actually walk around the machine, see everything. Okay. So knowing that all those things are in place, and answering the last question, I would say we'll probably tap into more marketplaces, especially the online marketplace. I would think, offering more of a wholesale option to other sign companies. But we also do a lot of unique things here as far as what we're printing. It's not just for clients. We also design a lot of things. And I know the online graphic business is pretty popular. You have to have the right formula. You have to have good artists, good designs. Wall covering is a big thing. So we'll probably look to get more into those markets 2025. Yeah.
Interesting. You were mentioning, wall covering. There's also the online market. This is definitely something we look at and we already support. We have a lot of cloud-based system solution already within EFI to support those needs, coming, bringing, work and files from the cloud downstream to the printer, and make it an efficient and an orderable way. It's a good notion that you mentioned. Thank you for that.
Funny,
Tomer, we have
He actually
some,
mentioned one thing that I didn't get into.
Yeah,
Options-wise was the double-sided
The
print.
double-side printing option, yeah. Anthony, thank you so
we
much.
have
First
some
of all, appreciate
questions
your
rolling
partnership.
in, Tomer, for Anthony. We
Yeah,
have
and
some
now with the questions
rolling
for
in.
Anthony as well. Yeah, some questions for Anthony.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. So, Anthony, what print mode are you using most often?
We're using POP. And everything looks fantastic. So we're going pretty quick. I don't remember what the speed is. You want to pull up that graphic that showed the different speeds before? I could tell you.
I can definitely do that.
No, we can share with the audience. Pop is about over
1,000 square feet an hour.
Yeah. So for
1,020.
for large graphics, that's what we've been going with. And it's been fantastic. Like we just did 2 nights ago, I did a 106-foot by 14-foot barricade over at Hudson Yards, and people are right on top of it. I was there when it was getting installed. It looked great. No banding. The colors pop. And that's a tough place to get things done. And yeah, so that's the setting we've been using. Have we used slower settings on other things? Yes. I have an art gallery here in New Jersey, and the photographer and the artist, they come here and we show them, samples before we do a big run. And sometimes those people are tough to please, but yeah, the colors are there, the quality is there, and the colors are very impactful. Like the yellows, I noticed yellows, blacks, blues, just really, they pop. And if everyone's, on this call has been in the business for a long time, you'll know that early stages before the EFI machines, when people were dealing with Gerber and Roland and Mamaki, grays were very tough to achieve, right? Grays would come out a little green, and you'd have color dropouts. And, I can't tell you how many headaches we've had with that years ago. You go into Manhattan, you do a job, then you got to go back and redo the whole job. So yeah, so to not even think like that anymore, and to leave that in the back of your mind, and everyone's moving forward. The engineering on the machine, the quality on how it was built, just excellent. So, and I'm not being paid to say that. I'm just telling you that from field experience.
Thank you for that.
And I have been on the other side of things. I have seen things where it doesn't work out, but yeah, very happy with everything. So thank you.
Wonderful.
Beautiful.
Another question, do you do multi-roll printing? And if yes, are you using the split shaft mentioned earlier?
So I'm not using the slitters. I have a Zund that cuts most of the stuff. It's been working out fine. We do 2 rolls on the 10-footer, and luckily I have a 16-footer, and we do 3 rolls on that. So yeah, you have to. If you're just doing a single roll and you're trying to get out a lot of square footage, it's tough. So doing the dual roll and the 3-roll options, it really makes things go a lot quicker. So yes.
Okay, one more question for Anthony. Did you say if you're using white or clear?
I do not use white or clear on the 33R. I use it on the 16-footer that we have from EFI. The reason why we chose that is because we use that machine, the 33R, primarily for large format graphics on barricades, and the barricades are temporary. Now, it does not mean that I won't get clear down the road. We have that option. Also, we have the white option. But our personal need was to crank out large graphics quickly, high quality, and do it well. And so far, it's been great. Also, I'll make it a point. The ink, the way that it cures, I can't scratch it. I use a set of car keys on it. I can't scratch it. So for me, for something that's going on a temp wall inside of a retail center, and that wall may be up for 3 or 4 months, it's good enough. I'm not saying don't get the clear or the white. I did see that at the demo center, and it was pretty awesome. But that's something that if I was going to recommend, I would go see it in person. But when George showed me the samples, it's a whole nother level to the product and what you're trying to do. But for our need, that's why we did not go with the clear and the white at this time on the 33R.
Wonderful. Thank
I'm
you.
going to add one note that by design, each one of the options are field upgradable. But this is the nice story about it. You can start with what you need today and always have the option to upgrow with the different options as you need, if you need in the future.
I have a few Q&A is definitely coming in, so I have a few other questions. One question for George. Do you need the split shaft for multi-roll?
No. No, you can do it. Split shaft to me. I mean, I'm a seasoned operator, so kind of.
Yeah. So
the more, like Anthony said, he uses the 3-meter roll just fine. It just makes it a little bit easier.
the 3-meter bar. So you
Yeah.
can use the 3-meter bar for 2 rolls up. I would say there's maybe 2 reasons to go to the split shaft. One of them, if you want a larger capacity for bigger diameter and heavier rolls. The second, it has better collection accuracy on the income, right? I'm not saying this is not accurate, the single shaft, but having 2 split shaft get you a very accurate collection.
One of the big factors with me is it's easier loading.
And easier loading and out.
It's easier loading when you just start one at a time.
That's absolutely it.
I mean, roll lifters are great too, but I don't think everyone has roll lifters like we have as well.
Exactly.
Great. Another question. Do your customers want the 3M MCS warranty with their graphics?
Is that a question for me?
I think so. Yes.
It comes up on proposals, but no one's specifically asking me for it. No, not at this time. And I've done some pretty high level work for people like Facebook. As long as I'm showing them, here are the inks that we're using, here's the material, here's my warranty, right? As a company, that seems to go over pretty well. But I mean, the MCS warranty, I think, is a great thing. I know it's pending on this machine, but no one specifically has asked me about that in about a year. So, but I do see it on, if you're doing large work, you will see it on the actual bid contracts that come out. But no one has specifically called me and said, hey, you guys don't have this, or it's not listed in your, on your proposal. What's up with, that's never happened. So.
Great. Thank you, Anthony. So I don't see any more questions in the chat.
Okay.
Tomer,
I want to thank everyone for being on the call. Thank you, George, for doing this fantastic demonstration. And Anthony, thank you so much for your time and valuable notes. If anyone else has any follow-up questions, anything you want to reach out to myself, Adriana, the demo center team. We're going to follow up with a few more webinars, and I'll hand it over back to Adriana.
Thank you, Tomer. Thank you, Anthony. Yes, I wanted to promote that the next Wide Format Wednesday webinar will be next month on the 15th. Here you will see the times. It will be at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. Please follow up on social media so you can get the registration link. And we will have a very special guest, Linda Fox, owner and partner of Speed Pro Nashville South, will be with us sharing her experience with the Pro 16H printer. So follow us on social media to find the registration link. If you have any questions, here is Tomer's email address, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye.